I am your host of this podcast named Artist on Artist Live Interview. I am joined by the lovely Bella Sklar. She is a BFA 2 Fine Arts major. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Bella Sklar. I go here to the CalArts. I specialize most, I would say, in paper mache. I've done a lot of acrylic paintings and I sew, but I really just work with anything that is speaking to me at the moment and that is communicating and translating the best for me, like any kind of theme. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I don't remember how I met you, actually. I remember meeting in the cafeteria somehow, but then you invited me to your gallery, which Bella and I ended up going to see, and I was mesmerized. Honestly, I'd never been to an art gallery before, or actually I have, but mostly just like paintings, like normal paintings, like a normal art gallery, right? And that's kind of what I was expecting when I walked in, but I was very pleasantly surprised by your art, because it really I read the little intro thing that you had, and I think you nailed every single part of that. I wish I could show you guys. Can you actually give a description, of the gallery? That would be helpful in my opinion. Yeah.
Yes. It was so much fun to put together. I made all of the works during that fall semester, but I would say you walk in, there was like a snack table on the right. Yeah. Lots of yummy snacks, like in color theme, all of that. And then my artist statement above. And then you're walking forward. This is in Stevenson Blanche Gallery, which is a little bit tucked away. It's above the Super Shop, but I definitely recommend that you check it out, because whenever artists are there, it's just a really special treat.
Yeah, that room was really cool.
Yeah.
It was interesting finding it, but yeah, it is tucked like in a weird corner. But
yeah,
once
and
you're in there, it's like, whoa.
There's offices in there too, like art staff work like behind those doors.
Okay,
amazing people. But right in front of you, in the front wall and then to the left, are a series of poems that I did.
Yes, the poems are gorgeous.
Lots of like working with legibility. I talked about this a little bit in my artist statement, how like as a person of color, I think legibility and lack thereof is really important. Like you don't always need to put everything about yourself out there. You can hide a little bit, you can put it between the margins. I think it's important to find like that happy place for you personally to enjoy your presence like as a person like in this earth and share it with other people, but also protect your own like safety in your own heart. So I had tons of poetry, and then you're walking forward to your right. There was this big, like long, kind of skinny, like amorphous blob creature, like wounded animal. It is like I would say it was like my mom and my brother and I, like all together as like one being.
That's kind of what I gathered.
I am so glad that you saw that. Yeah,
and veins. I saw veins. I saw cells.
I took inspiration from actual like cells. A lot of cells from the liver. Because my mom, she passed away in 2022 from alcohol and substance abuse. And so I added like cell structures that are from the human liver, kind of to talk about like liver disease and liver damage from alcohol and drug consumption.
Wow. I definitely got the feeling of damage when I was watching it, because it was so like dysmorphed. Like, because when I read your statement, I was like, okay, I understand the idea that this is like a familial thing, this is a combination of family. But when I was looking at these sculptures and paintings, it was very apparent that there was like a damage, a dysmorphia to it, a blend, and it was almost painful. Like I could feel the pain of that piece of art.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the words, but I could definitely feel the pain.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted there to be a good combination, a good mix, una mezcla of like pain and love,
Yes,
because that's
yes.
what family really
sure.
is,
Yeah, yeah.
honestly. It's messy and it's complicated, but it's
sure.
also, I always, at least in my family, even with the problems that we had, there was always like a brace, like an embrace, a warmness to it, even with the pain. And all of the pieces kind of go along those lines. There was also this kind of, I feel it to be like my family time body map, I think, if that makes any sense. It was like a fabric sculpture with kind of red yarns going up
Yes.
and down, kind of like a mystery trying to be solved.
That's what we were. Yes, I remember we said that. We
Really?
we talked about how the red yarn felt like veins and felt like blood, but it also felt like there was a connection to things, like a movie mystery type of deal. We definitely felt that vibe from the yarn, so that was really interesting. Tell me more about the like the sculpture that you had. It felt like it was a heart, but it also felt like it had a face. I don't know. It felt alive for sure, and I'm just very curious about it. And I had questions when I was in there. That was so long ago, but yeah, I just want to know more about the sculpture that you had, like, because it was kind of tucked in the corner, right? Like you would walk in, and it's like a little box, and then it was like inside of another like mini room, right? So, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, that sculpture was actually made of paper mache. A lot of people approached me and they were like, is this ceramic? I sprayed it with a sealant to kind of give it that shiny look. And on it, so it's just like this fleshy kind of like creature, but it's also a thought. It's also an idea, and it's kind of like coming, I would say, to explain it best, the creature itself was kind of like me in a way. Hanging off of me, there was a red piece of yarn and then another little creature with a spiral for a face. The spiral in nature is often attributed to perfection.
Right.
In nature,
Yeah.
and I kind of had that represent my little brother. I mean, not so little anymore. He's 16 and he's like
Nice.
5'10", so he towers over me. So for context, I'm 4'11", so it kind of evil of him. But
How dare he?
exactly. But I love him very much. He is my dear. He's always going to be my baby brother, you know.
Facts, yeah.
And then coming out of me is kind of like this arm-ish kind of like creature that is like coming around my shoulder and back around again. And I saw that kind of like as my mother. Like it was hard to see like where I began and where she began, where we ended, because I felt like there were so many boundaries crossed. There's a lot of things with parenting that obviously can go wrong when a parent wants to confide in their child, but a child at that stage of development, they can't really take in that information without taking it as emotional burden, which is difficult for any child. But I also saw the love in that, and how your parents, like, they're imperfect beings. Like, everyone is an imperfect creature that is trying to come around and exist.
Live,
Exactly. So that's basically what that piece meant to me, and it was surrounded by fabric, kind of like hanging from the walls, like encased in its own world. Like there's always these doors behind shut doors. You don't really know what's going on in a household, and it's encasing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was. I also had a bunch of drawings and one painting, which was also hand sewn, embroidered with thread to make those veins.
Yes,
yeah.
I remember that.
Very tedious work, but I enjoy it. When I say blood, sweat, and tears, I'm serious. Like there is probably some blood in the pieces, like being completely honest. But it adds to it, you know.
Definitely.
So that is the workaround.
How long did it take you to not only create the pieces, but then also like put the whole thing up? And like what was the idea, like, because obviously you put everything in a specific order. Was there a plan when you put things up, like in that specific order? And then how long did it take as well?
Yeah, so it took the entirety of the semester. I had ideas bubbling within me. I still have this huge box of my mom's old poetry, like, which inspired a lot of the works, and also I took a lot of her own words and remixed them and reintegrated them into its own form to be like the poetry that I had in the gallery. So the whole semester I was researching kind of like family dynamics and intragenerational trauma, and I was working with one of my professors. Oh my goodness, I don't know why it's not coming to me. Michael Bryant,
okay.
Amazing scientist, and just person in general. If you guys get a chance to talk to him, he's really amazing. And his class, Sex and Death, which goes throughout all of the life cycles, really like helped me dive into that natural, like biological factor of my work. So it was a lot of like research based stuff, but I obviously the process of creating like the paper mache sculpture, it probably took like working on it like every other day or even every day of like a week, and staying up late, like getting to the studio at like 8 p.m. and then coming out at 2 a.m. Like every other day, which was rough, but those were the hours that I could make work for maybe like a few months, like 3 months. But the sculpture definitely was like one of my last pieces. I like to work on a lot of stuff at once, so I like will draw out the plan and draw sketches of like different pieces, and then once I kind of have an idea of every piece I want to have, I draw the room that it would be in, and then draw like the little like, oh, it's here, and then the drawings are here, and then they're on this side, and then I just grind. So my work is fluid, but it definitely, as long as I've got something to put my hands on, it's gonna come to me.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, that was really insightful. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the first questions I usually like to ask is why you do what you do. Like, as artists, in my opinion, it's extremely, and I say this a lot in this podcast, it's like, as artists, it's extremely important to understand why we do the things that we do, especially as actors and directors and all these creatives. So I'm very curious, it's like, why you do this. Why do you create this art? Why did you choose this profession? Why did you choose to come here? Just, why?
I like to tell people this, but I've literally been drawing ever since I could pick up a crayon. Like, it's been, even before that, maybe, like in the dirt, like I've always been creating art. I had a lot of inspiration from, and teaching from my grandpa, who is a lawyer, but also an artist, and just creates all the time, like aluminum sculptures like out of old cans, and he would just take me on walks like through the LACMA, and we would just draw, and he would make me do blind contours, which is basically where you look at a piece of art and you draw it, or a person, and you draw it without looking at the page, which is kind of hard, but I got better at it because he just pushed me, and I didn't really have any like traditional art like teaching in high school. It's kind of like a more STEM based school. I had art classes, but I was a little bit ahead, so I just kind of would do whatever I wanted, and formed what would become my portfolio for applying here.
Oh, sick.
So to answer your question on why I do this, I feel like it creates me, and it heals me, and it becomes me. Like, it becomes what I am, and it always has been. Like, I feel like time to me, and in general, I like to think, like, in my opinion, it's not really linear the way that we like to talk about it. Like, our memories are not too far off from, like, re-existing in that time.
Totally.
So whenever I tap into that time, whenever I tap into that space where I had existed, that body of me, I am bringing it back and forth, and it's healing me, and it's reminding me again that I do this because I just love it. Like, I love to create, I love to draw, and I love to sculpt, and it feels like me.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I'm still processing that because I like a lot of the things that you said.
Thank you.
Tell me more about your grandpa. Like, tell me more about like what that process was like and how that inspires you today.
Yeah, my grandpa, Gary Sklar, he's an interesting dude, to say the least, but like so I'm half Mexican on my mom's side, half Jewish on my dad's side, like Jewish, French, and all, Sephardic and Ashkenazi, but my grandpa is the Ashkenazi one, and so he's like this super Jewish guy, and he just like, comes to our house with bagels and like, and without asking first, like he just shows up.
Yeah.
But he kind of like has really been there for my family in recent times when it's been hard and when my dad has been unemployed. And he's been there for us, like definitely financially, and I think he tries to be there for us emotionally, but he's a weirdo, like most artists. He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to say I love you. Like once he dropped me off at my dorm and I was like, okay, bye, I love you. And he was like, okay, yeah, sure. And then he left. He closed the door. And I was like, okay, now I know why my dad is like this.
Right.
I mean, he has always said I love you to me, but I just kind of understand like his point of view and like some of the things that he does. I'm like, wow, like that's crazy. And I confronted him about it. I was like, tell me you love me. And he's like, oh, of course I love you. I'm like, whatever. But he's really an incredible artist, does great contour drawings just out of anything that he has. He used to tell me, like, I would be like, oh, can I have an eraser? He's like, if you need an eraser, you're not a real artist. And I'd be like, I don't agree with that personally, but definitely it helped me be like, okay, I'm just going to use what I have. Like, if I've been in a situation where I didn't have a pencil, I didn't have a pen, I didn't have anything, I would just pick up, like, I would burn a piece of wood and I would draw with that. Charcoal. Charcoal is like right there.
Yeah.
Grass kind of gives that green. Blueberries, like even my own blood, but by accident. Not like I drew blood to do it. Although I have thought about doing that recently, but with the help of a trained professional to draw my own blood. I really love blood and sinew and just like everything. This is a tangent, but I just really want to know what my insides look like. And I've always wanted to know, and I don't know if I ever will.
There's actually, have you heard of like there's a museum you can go to that has like...
It has like the structure of like the nervous system
and the nervous system, the veins, all of that.
I just kind of like want to know. It's a lot messier when it's actually inside your body,
For sure. Absolutely.
Like I did a lot of research for rabbits and humans, looking at like the inner structure of them, and you're just looking at it and you look at like the drawn diagram and then you look at like what's actually in there. You're like, what in the F am I looking at right now? It's just a jumbled mess of like masses, but they are like this because of generations and generations of like evolution, and definitely. It's just meant to be that way.
Our bodies are a trip.
It's just it's amazing. But my grandpa, he's a it's ADHD. That's what's happening here.
I'm on the same page. I was ready to keep going with that. But yes, you're right. Yeah.
He's a great guy, and he is a weird guy, and he's an amazing artist, and I appreciate him as a human being. And he definitely helped me become the artist that I am today. But don't tell him I said that.
Yeah. I hope you're not watching this. So I'm very curious of like what the fine arts major looks like. Like I'm very curious as like what you do on a day-to-day basis, like what this next semester is going to look like for you, what last semester looked like for you. Yeah, I'm just curious to tell me a little bit of your story here at CalArts.
Yeah, the fine arts program at CalArts is really, it just feels tailored to me sometimes, because it's like you have all of these amazing instructors. You'll have like in art history class, there was one my first year, and then there's also one my second year, and it's like a part 1 and part 2 instead of just like a semester of a class.
Right.
And those classes are always really cool, and the teacher's always really insightful. And then you have your critique class, and which sounds scary, but it's actually really nice because we just go in, we bring our art, and we talk about it, and it's like the kind of like fine art, like almost pretentiousness that you think about, where you're like, I think the color blue in this piece kind of signifies like longing, like that kind of thing. Cool. But we just sit and we just talk about it for hours, and it's really, when you just sit with a piece for that long, you notice so many things about it and about yourself that you never really would have if not for that. So for sure. I don't really have a lot of required classes, so I just kind of like have those few required classes, and then I take tons of critical studies, even though I have extra credits from like high school AP, but I just love the critical studies like school. They have so many things to teach you that will influence your art. Whenever people I know are like, oh, I wish I didn't have to take critical studies, I'm like, okay, write an essay or two, but like, come on, it's like there's so much information and knowledge that they can bestow on you, and it's just gonna make your art so much more fulfilled. Like, and I mean, like, I'm biased because I like writing essays because I'm a nerd, but like, nerd.
Yeah, same though, same. I appreciate that you're saying that because I completely agree with you. I think it's extremely important to like learn about the world and understand the world around you, because as artists, it's our responsibility to like represent the world.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So if you don't know things about it, what kind of art are you making? You know what I mean? So I think that's extremely important, and I appreciate that you said that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess the brunt, or like the main part of my education is I have my critical studies classes, I have my critique class, and I have my art history class, and then I'm just in the studio like most of the time, and then I try to indulge in all the art that is being made on campus as much as possible, like the music programs and the actors and the dancers. I have a lot of friends from different disciplines, and I think that if you're at CalArts, that is really important, and you should do that. Like, you need to talk to people from other disciplines to collaborate. I designed an album cover for my friend's EP, which you guys should listen to. It's Sora Hoshino, but on Spotify and other platforms, it's it's Crocodile Gene. Yes, Crocodile Gene. Cool. And it's beautiful. It's all instrumental, but like just that is my practice. Enjoying art and gleaning art and creating art all the time. Just writing and drawing and just thinking. Sometimes I just think. Sometimes I just sit important. And I just think about it, you know? Even if it's uncomfortable.
I think that's important to do. Yeah, I think that's important to do, to really lean into the discomfort of just thinking about your piece of art, because the more energy you put into it, the more you get from it. You know? So I think that's extremely important, and I try to do that a lot with my scenes, my monologues. I try to go as deep as possible into them, and not just touch the surface of it. So I hear you on that. I'm curious as to what you've learned about yourself so far, and how that's informed your next project.
I definitely learned a lot from this exhibition that I did. It was my first solo show. And I learned a lot about myself through my mom, reading all of those journals, like very personal journals. And being away from home has been such a blessing for me. Just pretty much a net positive of interacting with so many people with similar but also such different experiences and approaches to life than I have. So I think I kind of found a lot about myself through that. Like, I mean, my mom used to say, like, I always knew, like, who I was, like, from a young age. Like, I kind of just was like, yeah, I'm me, and I'm not, like, gonna let anybody tell me that I'm, like, anything else, because I already know. So I think I don't feel much different as a person, but I'm much happier. I am just inspired.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for what's to come, which I do have ideas about a show for my mid-res, which is going to be like the semester after this one.
Nice.
Of new landscapes. Landscape is like really important in that mix. But yeah, I'm really grateful for the CalArts community, honestly.
Me too. Yeah, me too. This school is really freaking cool. So I guess my final question for you is, what do you have planned next? Like, where do you plan on taking this art? What do you have planned next for the next semester? What do you have planned next for your art in the following years?
Awesome. Yeah. For this upcoming semester, I'm mostly going to be doing collaborative work and making things to sell, little trinkets and little things, like this little keychain guy. And I am going to be working with musicians. I'm starting a band with my roommate, Sakura Martinelli, very amazing person in the film and video program. and just like trying new mediums and experimenting and writing and drawing what's to come for my next exhibition for my mid-res, which is going to be very much about inner and outer landscapes and kind of like navigating literal like actual streets, but also inner roads and like the unwalkableness of the LA city and growing up in an urban neighborhood and facing all of those struggles as an AFAB person and a person of color and all of those things that I got in my bio. Nah, but like I'm like, I mean, this is a side thing, but I like to joke with my family that I'm like a conservative's worst nightmare. I'm a biracial, multi religious household, polyamorous, bisexual, gender fluid.
Oh my goodness.
Like it just like list goes on and on and on and on and on. But I've never made a choice in my life, I guess. But I'm very excited for what's to come and to show you guys. So yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
This was really amazing.
Good. I'm glad you had fun. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much.
That was Bella, you guys, and I am your host, Ivan Quesada, and we're gonna tap out of here. Bye.
Bye. Yay.
Yay.
Oh my God, that was so much fun.
Good. I'm glad you had fun.